This is one of the reasons why I don't, when I'm at magnetic zero, and this goes back to childhood, there is no time. So that means I throw all the clocks out, all their calendars out, even though I've used some dates. Normally, I don't think about time. I'm only experiencing what love is because of the speed at which I sound buffer and complete a circuit, which is always at 0 degrees. So I noticed, and this is why I went back to notice it, it's because I'm aware of a mistake or an error that I made, because it's related to a date. Okay? And so I said December 25th. It wasn't December 25th. If you go back to previous videos, I said December 15th, because that's what I remember. And the only reason that I even remember that, when you get into no memory and memory-driven program, the application of consciousness as it relates to holographic fire-letter codes, between fallen codes, right, and Metatronic system codes, which is deadlight codes that operate in a time field, and we don't operate in a time field because there is no time. There's only what love is, which is called real-time manifestation, which is true celestial manifestation, creation mechanics, because we're experiencing being one with the first grand creator. So we're not experiencing any difference in speed because we're always at 0. So there's no time. That's why as a child, it's an illusion. So a lot of times when I use dates, even sometimes when I have to think about dates, I can't validate the exact date. But what I do remember, because of that, as a matter of fact, okay, because dates have to do with past experiences. Now we're talking about water under a bridge, hydrolase, protoplasm, the organic water code, the first organic water code, liquid light consciousness, fire and light, joined as one. So I mentioned it because at the time in which that happened, I didn't think about the date when I lit myself on fire. It just happened. And it happened according to divine right timing. Bang. Then it happens. Full recalibration. It wasn't until a number of days later, when I was reflecting on it after I cried for 4 days, I remembered that it was on December 15th when it happened. And then I let it go. See? So in other words, as time is relevant to time, as it's related to water table matrices, which are called schedules, water columns, as it relates to thermal gradients between the vertical and the horizontal bar. 1D, 2D, right? The first cross, right? And so it's not a coincidence that I went back to watch the video that I did in order to correct that. Okay, but this is what I will tell you, because I've been doing this since I was a child. I got tired of wasting time and energy related on past circuits. The speed at which we complete a circuit based on the codes, because we have a relationship with a fallen deadlight system, which is artificial intelligence, which is the Metatronic X geometry spiral that's headed for implosion. Okay, which is the Bartle point, which is a quantum probability math function, which means it's not hard to figure out and do the math, which is basic logic, that if they can't correct their spiral over time-space vectors in a time matrix, then it's only a matter of time, because they operate in a time field, in a time matrix, before it implodes. So they need time. So we give them all the time in the world. That's what love is, which means there is no time. So what I found when I used to post a lot of stuff up on their Facebook, I realized everything that I post has already happened. That's water under a bridge, otherwise known as water under a rainbow gyrodome, the auroras. It's water under a bridge. It's already happened. Because what they want to know is what you plan on doing next, so they can make a counter space move. That's how military AI wargamers think. That's called a strategy, like Stratego strategies. The more it learns about us, and if you remember the movie Space Odyssey, 2010, how the computer, the AI, locked Dr. Frankenstein into his own creation. Now, Dr. Frankenstein couldn't get out because Dr. Frankenstein, which are the mad scientists, which are sick, which is a psychopath, locked themselves into their own prison as a result of what they generated by virtue of the system that they came up with, which is the implosion codes. So that's when they find out that, whoa, look what we did to ourselves in order to maintain what it is we're aware of. As a result of having fallen, we can't correct what it is that we fell. Therefore, we operate in a black hole. Black holes are not naturally occurring, so we're not running a natural spiral. So if we can't correct our spiral, then we're held captive by the war game that we're operating in, which are war game theaters. Now we're back to failsafe. Failsafe codes. The plasma codes, the P codes. Just like the U.S. Navy calls their Navy coats P codes. P codes. P4. Ammonium phosphate. Phosphorus. Full phosphorus ignition. So there is no time. So I got tired of having to go back because I'm aware of it, because of the speed at which we cycle, it's faster than it, to go back and keep correcting all this stuff. It just becomes a waste of time and energy because it's already water under a bridge. Yeah, which means I'm not creating anything new because I'm having to go back and correct something that is an error code as a result of a relationship that we have communicating through something that is a circuit breaker. Right? Now we're into filing cabinets. Now we're into recorded filing systems and the organization of cells and how cells self-organize themselves in order to experience zero, which is perfect balance, zero out the mass. That's perfect calibration, which is perfect timing. In breathing, the breathing tempo. Cells that breathe are breathing at zero, breathing with the first magnet, breathing with the first spirit, breathing with the first breath of Kamaloati. Kirashe, Ashalum, Ta Ekashadur. Ya. So I catch these little things from time to time, but I get, most of the time I would not have come back on here and done another video in which to do that, which means I do this as an instructional tool by virtue of the relationship that we have with something that's dead, that's operating dead-like plasma codes. P codes, implosion codes, the immortal body, the metatronic body, the goo, the catalyst, the organization of those cells, which are units of consciousness that are metatronic. Phantom. PH, phantom, like fandom, like the fandom channel. Yeah, so I just thought I'd share that because it's the truth. So I try to, it is what it is. You know, sometimes I put up messages like I do on my Facebook page. Like the other day I made a long post and then I don't think about it, it's gone, right? Then I go on to the next thing. What do? I go back and I look and I realize, oh, it made a duplicate copy. So there's two. There's the original, which is the original artist, which is the original organic water code. And then I see a second copy of that. So it duplicated what I did first. So you see that it's running at a slower rate of speed, a full cycle. And the truth of that is, why did it make a copy? Because it's not in real time. Because it's not real. It's not running real, natural, eternal light, which is eternal, absolute, pure love that's on fire to create. Manifest into creation what eternal, absolute love manifests into creation, into the inner and the outer domains. The mirror, the crystal mirror, the crystal display, the cathode ray lava tube, the crystal cathedral, the four-square crystal cathedral, Sophia, the pink Rosetta, ya.